How's it going, guys? PhantomCave here with today's 10th episode of the My Collection series, which delves into, well, obviously my collection, a comic collector of the Phantom, and today we have Collector's Replica series number 10, number 1779 in the Phantom issues, and it's from, all the issues are from 1960. We have Phantom's World number 4, presenting the first time the Stubborn Sorcerer. I'll go into that in more detail. We have Pirates of the Red Dragon Part 1, number 1781. We have Pirates of the Red Dragon Part 2 and Part 3. So let's get into it, and hopefully you enjoy this episode of my collection series. So, the first story is Diamond Cup and the Gibbs Brothers, and then we move on to the Super Apes and the Matchmaker. So, with these old stories in the Collector's Replica series, I'm pretty sure, we reviewed one of those books back a few weeks ago. It would have been, it was a few weeks ago. And so this story is obviously the Alexander's Diamond Cup. And we reviewed one of the books in the series, which was number 23. And this one is obviously one of the earlier editions, which is number 10. So it's pretty cool. So as we flick through the pages, we see a lot of, I think it's still Alexander's Diamond Cup, I think. And I think we go into the Gibbs Brothers here somewhere. Must be this one. No, that story there must have been the Gibbs Brothers. I don't think I have actually read the Gibbs Brothers once before, and this story is the Super Apes. I've read this a few times. It's a good story. Art, I think, either by Wilson McCoy or Ray Moore. And it's a good story. As I always say in these old issues, I tend to like the more modern stories like Pirates of the Red Dragon, which we will be having a look at very soon. But anyways, it's good opportunity to get all the old series of this, and I am looking. I've got something planned for, I think, next week or the week after. So I should be getting a whole lot of comics if they accept to it. I should be getting a lot of Phantom comics in probably the next couple of weeks. If I'll pay them, and I'll get them. And some of them are going to be just unreal. Now this one is the Phantom World number 4. Now this story around this book is, I didn't take very much good care of this book. I know you're supposed to take good care of your Phantom World or your Phantom comics, but this one, no, it got to be a lot of water damage. Like one of my other books, which is from this series, but in the specials editions, that one didn't get taken very care of. That one, it got a lot of water affection on it, so I basically had to get another copy of that same book. And luckily I actually, it was good. This story I have not read for a very, very long time, so I'm guessing I'm not going to know much about this story, but I'm guessing some sort of psycho sorcerer or some sort, and the Phantom has to fight him or try and find out how he does stuff. And And this comic, I actually, when I bag and board my comics, this one in particular gets 2 boards underneath it, so because it's very, very fragile. moving on. Pirates of the Red Dragon Part 1, Part 2, Part 3. So the covers are done by separate artists. The first one is one of my favourite artists, Antonio Lemos, which I met him at Supernova last year and he signed a few things. I've actually got one of his signed books up in the background. He signed right there, but it didn't work that much. It didn't go very well because the ink smudged. But this story, I say this a lot on the channel when I'm reviewing old comic books, like the few that are coming out in the next few weeks. Now, these books are basically a saga which went on to become one of, I think, most of the prolific sort of reading I've ever done. Now, this comic has a Princess Sin Red Dragon prequel, so yeah, you gotta read this one first, and then you read that one first and then get this one, and it's still pretty good. Now, all the comics are rated in PG because some of them, like the pages, are naked things, but overall, it's a pretty damn good comic, and the cover, obviously, what I said, is done by one of my favourite artists, Antonio Lemos. Now, let's have a look at the next book in the series. It's obviously part 2. We find out a little bit more about the comic. I have not read this for a very, very long time, this series. Very, very long time. Now, this comic, I think, was optioned for a trade paperback when they were doing the Phantom board game back, I think, last year. I sometimes wonder when that Phantom comic might be coming out. No, not the Phantom comic, but the board game. Now, this story, I tend to say this a lot on the channel. I love the modernist type of stories where it just follows on from something else and keeps on going. But anyways, this story's so good. It's just so good. And that guy pictured there, I'm pretty sure he's Waldor. I remember that face, and he's a very, very evil character in the series. As always, we have a other character, which is Princess Sin, and she's basically in control of. She's basically the head honcho for Pirates of the Red Dragon Pirates. And basically what they do is they raid ships. They make sure, and most of it, I think, might be a women's workforce or some sort. But yeah, this book's so good, and if you can read it, you need to read it. Plus, there's a lot of tension build up. There's a lot happens in these books, and because there's a new Phantom comic coming out next week, well, that's the 3rd issue of the 22nd Phantom Saga Part 2. Second saga, and yeah. I didn't think about this, but I've got the original books on the wall right now. You can see a little bit of glimpse of them. I'll get them in a minute. But we have folio 3, and that cover right there was my first ever book that I ever bought of the Phantom, so that's pretty cool. And then we have barbecue apron and oven mitt, worn by Dudley Hogarth, and he's obviously the publisher for the Phantom. But now, as I promised, we are going to take a glimpse at the 22nd Phantom Saga. This comic won't be in the My Collections episodes for a very, very long time. It might be in probably 13th or 14th or something like episode of that. But if you want to subscribe for more videos by PhantomCave, go do so, and you can click that subscriber button. We're at 80 subscribers right now, and so click that subscribe button, like, share, comment down. Always keep on PhantomCaving and keep safe from what we're in right now.